Hello, my high priestess key family. 1, 2, and to the 3. Okay, for the knowledge, the wisdom, and the understanding that I am bringing to you today, family. All right, over here. This is for the full moon. Okay, as y'all know, I love to get into the moon phases. All right, in the true sidereal and the verdict though. Okay, y'all know I definitely resonate with the true sidereal. I definitely resonate with the verdict as well, which both of those are very similar. Okay, except for sometimes verdict may be a little different, just in reference of the if you go back and look, I'm just giving you a little update in reference of that, in reference of your the zodiac signs. Okay. Um, Now, excuse me, I got something in my retainer at the bottom. Okay, so today, family, is a full moon. I just came out of meditation, okay, because today's full moon is in Libra, okay, not in Scorpio, as the Western will tell you, and I'm gonna show you why, like I always do for you guys who are still Westerners, okay, and that's okay, whatever resonates with you. But what I'm letting you know is what is true and what's in the sky. Okay. If you look in the cosmos, if you look in the actual sky with a telescope instead of just listening to what people tell you, you will see that Libra, that the sun, I'm sorry, the moon is in Libra. Okay. It hasn't even made it past Libra yet. Just like with the true sidereal, it has not even actually gotten to Taurus. It will be in Taurus tomorrow. Okay. Um, but anywho's Libra is, and let me show you guys, because you know I always have to show y'all. Y'all know I have to show you now. Okay, so let me get to it, right? Let me see if I can find the file so I can show y'all. Is this what I wanted to show you? Yes. Boom. Okay. Here is, and let me take off the let me take this off so you can see the timestamp this morning. Okay. I screenshotted this because I was talking to my spiritual family about what is truly in the sky, but we was also talking about some other asteroids and planets that, were in the sky as well, right? So, me, true sidereal takes me back to the planetary alignment, which is basically what ancestors is showing us here. All right. That is the moon. You see, it's right here near Libra. Okay. So that kind of lets you know, if you look at that in reference, excuse me, family, in reference of your here's the other one to show you a little better, right? I zoomed it out. But if you see the timestamp, this is what's in the sky today at 8:44 this morning, okay? The Venus aspect, the Libra aspect of things came into play this morning, Eastern time. I don't know why I thought it was at 11, and I think I said that this morning to my Patreonians, but it was actually the peak of it was at 12:55 Eastern time. So about roughly at 1 o'clock today, it was directly on Libra's energy. The full moon peaked, and that's the sidereal in Libra today, family. And it basically in the verdict, that's the Vishit. I always tear this up. The Vishisha Nakshatra. Okay, so that symbolizes the gateway with the leaves. The lunar mansion of Vishisha has qualities of both assertiveness and softness, where this is considered to be one of the mixed nakshatras. Okay. But of course, with the verdict is what I'm telling you about also today, because I want to give you a splash of both. The verdict is that bright moon within, the Libra aspect of what I'm showing you here, right? Timestamp today. And for that, it definitely just gives us that, it is about, luxurious things, relationships, and things like that, overcoming, the enemies with that nakshatra, okay? And to be careful of irritabilities, which goes back to what the spiritual astrology is for us in the true sidereal, or in the spiritual astrology, is that Libra is governed by the universal law of gender slash racism is how I'm taught, right? So life works best when you operate in unity right now, okay? So that's what the Libra energy definitely is in the true sidereal, in the true, I mean, in the spiritual astrology. In the spiritual astrology, Libra is known as the sacrifice, the offering, right? It's known as the messenger of judgment, right? So right now you may feel very judged, or it could be you could be the messenger of judgment, and that could go towards your, gender, your race, whatever it may be. You may feel that, we may see that, we may see, good things happening as well as bad things in reference of being manipulative when it comes to manipulating the collective as a whole. Because remember, Libra's energy is life is works best with unity, so it's more of um, the collective in a whole, right? And unity comes towards us in reference of what we talked about with the verdict, with relationships coming together, right? Two. But not only that, 12, right? So 1 and 2 is 3, which takes us back to Venus. But Libra in the energy of the spiritual astrology, and what I was taught is reference of the sun. Okay, so we know that the sun in Aries, so we know that the sun in Humana, but we know that the sun is to illuminate, to shine down on things, but it's also the sacrifice as well. But with that Aries, it's definitely energy of us going through strife and being able to push through that adversity. Okay. Libra's energy is also the only sign with no animal outside of what we were taught, that Libra is looked at as the black sheep. But in astrology, there's no animal to Libra sign. And that's because Libra carries all the weight of every sign. That's why it's scales that they show you, okay? Because they carry all the weight, which means that goes back to that judgment, right? But remember, with the Libra energy, those who were last will be first, and those who were first will be last with that Libra energy. So we'll see a lot of that occurring with this full moon. Things that will be released, people that have been done wrong. There may be some things that shift for them in the positive, okay? Those that have been judged, there may be some things that change around this aspect of this full moon. As long as they embrace that energy, they reprogram that energy, and they work with that energy. So that's doing energy work, that's working with your ancestors, that's making sure you maintaining that relationship with connecting with the divine, you accepting your responsibility of reflection within thyself, right? Or turning back within, right? So that came out for my Patreonians this morning. Accept responsibility, ancestors saying at this time, because we always talk about, yes, the full moon is about shedding some weight, letting some things go. But in reference of doing that, you must accept responsibility. You must face that energy. You must work with that energy. Sometimes it's for the good, right? Sometimes it's the best for you to work with that energy. Sometimes that's why with Libras, they always say Libras are so indecisive and so forth. That's because it's them weighing out the things that they've had to carry, and trying to make sure that they're doing the right thing, whereas before, Libras are always the ones that, and sometimes Cancers is looked at as the same energy as well, with Libras and Cancers, where they are the ones that others have pushed away or pushed down to get over you, or to have judged you in a certain way, but all of that energy is coming up in reference of this full moon. Now, as I stated, this full moon in the true sidereal is the Libra. I told you a little bit about what it was saying about the verdict in the full moon today for Libra, but in the spiritual astrology, in reference of Libra being that sun energy, we know that this is about a time of prosperity and abundance. Okay. So if you have Libra in your chart anywhere, you may receive this type of energy, or some things you may have to deal with that I'm speaking about. Okay. It controls the well-being of your mind as well, your mental well-being, because remember, Libra is an air sign as well. So with air, it's all about the mental, right? And it goes back to that, what the first universal law, which is all is mental, which is the number one. And then the number two, which is about your living conditions and your lifespan. So and technology too, but also having to make sacrifices, use your strengths as your weaknesses as your strength right now. It's about your spiritual abilities. A lot of you guys are going to have a lot of your spiritual abilities are going to come into play, and you're going to also need to be utilizing your spiritual abilities. Don't shy away from them. Utilize them for the greater good, and then that energy will be projected back to you. Remember, the things you deal with on the inside is a reflection of your external vibration. So you want to rise up and raise your vibrations internally, so those things outside of you will do the same. All right. Just always remember that. Right now, it's about your self-esteem. It's about your courage. It's about working on those things. It's about you having faith and having confidence, and it takes some time to regain that for some of us, and that have maybe had issues that, your self-esteem, your courage, your mental well-being has been taxed. And that's okay, because a lot of the things that's been happening in the collective, it makes sense. Okay. So now it's just a time for us to get our things together. Now is the time for, us to really focus on the children as well. So if you have children, right now, children of the sun are made sacrifices. So you want to pay attention to your children that are born around this time, your children that are doing things to, may have Libra in your chart as well. Okay. Pay attention to what they're doing. Now, I just did 11 minutes of no cards in reference of a reading for the full moon in Libra, but I also told you about the Vedic, and I gave you the spiritual astrology and the planetary alignment. So let's pull some cards from the Ancestor Oracle. These aren't tarot cards. These are numerology, spiritual astrology, and also planetary alignment in reference of these cards. All right. So let's get into it and see what the message is that the ancestors want us to know for this full moon in Libra. I'm gonna pull a quick message since I've already talked 3 minutes, but I had to show you in the sky, like I always like to do, where the actual planet is, so you can see it with your own two eyes. Where the moon, is. All right. So I don't like to come on and just tell you anything. I want you to actually see it. And I took 2 different pictures, okay, so you can see it from this different aspects, and I blew it up. Okay, and you can research some of these other planets that's around it as well if you would like to. But this is where the moon is in the sky at this time, really. Okay. All right. Messages for this full moon in Libra, ancestors. Just give us 3 cards in reference of what's the message for the collective today on this full moon, about this full moon, and what we need to know at this time in reference of this full moon right here, ancestors. The full moon in Libra. Ashe. Ashe. All right. So the ancestors giving me a lot of energy. Now, some of you that are Capricorn and are Scorpios, this message will resonate with you very strongly. Okay. This is energy of this is because I have the number 7 and I have it twice. Okay. Men on men as well, or men that are dealing, or men that are dealing with very, very distinct foreign people, places, and things. Okay. With the Scorpio energy, that's about changes. Men around men right now. Okay. A lot of energy around men, a lot of energy around changes that have to do with our money, changes that have to do with our businesses and things like that, changes in reference of our communication, and also changes within the number 7 gives us fear. Okay, so things that could be changing, that's putting fear in your heart in some shape, form, or fashion, where the ancestors is telling you, even the changes in the doctrine okay? Because this Scorpio energy is all about that, okay? And it's all about changes that are occurring around history right now, okay? And this full moon is illuminating it, okay? This is what the ancestors is speaking through this message, okay? And it's like cycles, okay, are coming off of this energy. It is definitely a time of change in reference of our living conditions, our lifespans, things that you can change right now, and your finances are very strong, family. All right. It'll be a lot of, I'm also seeing a lot of different energy here in reference of whatever it is that you desire. Right now is a big time in reference of manifestation. We'll see some big changes when it comes to technology. We'll see some big changes when it comes to, like I said, finances and things of that sort, and businesses. And it has to involve foreign things, okay? And some of that foreign energy may not be the best, but it's like it's gonna shift, is what I'm seeing here with what the ancestors threw out for us. Now, Scorpios, you will be affected by some of the energy that comes with the full moon. And this also goes back to what I advised you in reference of the Libra energy, okay? But it's really funny because they say that it is a Scorpio moon, right? But it's actually Scorpio energy that is here in reference of this full moon. Now, in the Vedic, they talk about Scorpio, okay? They say in the internalizing bright moon may give an energetic tendency, and at the same time nears it disabling degree of debilitation in early Scorpio. So a drive to power may be born out of emotional neediness and may play out as seeking connection through debate or competition, where the mixed energy of the day is best directed with discernment and towards worthy causes. Now, I love to go through Tamiko Fisher in reference of the verdict, giving her credit because she pinpoints it down to the T. Okay. And she definitely is talking about the moon will be at its maximum at 10:59 tonight. But she's definitely saying in reference of the Scorpio energy that will be felt during this full moon energy is all about your emotions. So some of my Scorpios, you will be having to use your discernment. You may feel very emotional right now when it comes to things, and you will be all in your mind, because remember, this is about Libra energy, which is the overall full moon in Libra, right? And it's an air sign. So it's all mental conflict, mental overthinking, things of that sort. But not only that, fear, right? Because we have that energy of Phobos that is here. And Phobos goes back to low vibrational men, okay? So we'll see that as a collective. Remember, we also will see the unity of men, okay, coming together to create a form of chaos as well as in here, okay? But not only that, to be competitive in some shape, form, or fashion is here, because we have Phobos twice, right? And the number 77, you could be seeing the number 77 as well, okay? 7 and 7 comes down to the number 14, which is Callisto once again, takes us back to that lion's den. So it's definitely energy here of still some things negative and still some things that are positive. It's just based on you doing the greater good and how you're vibrating in reference of the energy that you pick up on in this full moon. Remember, you control the outcome, and you have free will to shift this energy whichever way you want it to go, right? But the overall message is for us to look at Titan, and Titan is definitely all about, the gist of us looking at things that have been in cycles, breaking cycles, breaking generational curses, doing things that's gonna, help us move through, inflictions and things like that, right? Don't repeat cycles right now, or it will be some things that are repeating for the collective, because I am seeing that in the message right now. This is Saturn's moon with the overall message with Titan coming out for us. It's also a big time in reference of temptation, Okay, so you want to be very careful of things that may be a little tempting to you. Remember, right now is a time of judgment, a time of sacrifice. Okay, so you want to be very careful. But on the other part of that negative as well, be careful of revenge on the opposition right now. People going after others, and also, fathers. A lot here in reference of male element of things. I'm picking up so much of men energy here, masculine energy here, in reference of them being unstable, maybe even having an unstable father could be something that is driving a situation around you or what you may be in, or you may be that father. Now is the time for you to shift that energy. Miss T was just talking about this morning of repentance. So now is a good time for you to repent for your sins, especially when it has to do with this lion's gate and the lion's den. All right. So you want to come out of that. You know what I mean? So that's all about that judgment. It's like getting the judgment card right now. It's all a time of awakening. It's a time of, yes, the judgment card can be about, wish fulfillment, but it's also about, awakening, something allowing you to wake up and realize what it truly is, just like the judgment that we're going through with the trumpets and the seals and all of these things that they give you in the last story in the Bible, right? But it's truly just a different time period and things of showing you the aspect of how life can change and shift on your path, on your wheel, okay? And but you have control over it, okay? So now is the time for you to shift this energy. Now is the time for you to step into that full energy on this realm, okay? And not be the fool, but have faith and take the leap of faith into whatever it is that you decide or you desire, all right? So that is the overall message right now. I just broke it down for you guys. Make sure you're getting enough fresh air. Make sure you're getting enough vitamins right now in your body. If you're having any situations with your eyes and your nervous system, now is the time for you to be reflecting and take care of that, okay? And make sure you're taking care of your stomach, any stomach ailments, any headaches, any things to deal with your mind and your head. You want to get that checked out at this time as well. And things that may have to do with the which like your bones and so forth, you want to make sure you check that out as well. All right. So the overall energy that I'm getting here for everyone is to make sure you maintain it and step out of things that make you feel like you're repeating cycles, because it could be a reflection of some things repeating for us if we don't break it. Okay. So that is the message. I hope that this resonates with you. I hope that you're able to break those you come out of not having temptation right now. You break those cycles. You look at things and understand that everything is changing right now. That Scorpio energy is the energy, the law of perpetual energy, which means you can change and shift things right now to serve your highest good. But it's all about what you truly want to manifest and what you want to bring in your life. All right. Because the abundance is here, the prosperity is here, and the change is definitely here. All right. So much love to you. I will see you guys soon on the other channel as well, all in the cards as well as here. But hit the like button for me, family, and I'll see you soon. Peace.